Colum, would you like to round us off on what's been happening? Because the 49ers fans are back. I couldn't find them for a couple of months, but they're back this week. It seemed like Jimmy G might be playing again. Who knows what's going to happen? And now Deebo doesn't want to play as a hybrid running back wide receiver. He wants to play in one position and one position only, and he wants out, apparently.
Yeah, I suppose there have been stories about this for a little while, and we've seen the social media stuff where players have removed team logos and team pictures and all sorts from, be it their Twitter profile or Instagram profile. And that was what happened with Deebo. I think, some people will tell you this is to do with Christian Kirk's contract, and it totally changed the market for wide receivers. Other people will tell you that it's to do with the fact that Deebo does want to play in one position. And some people have said, I think it was Chris Sims said it to Florio, that Deebo doesn't want to live in California. He wants to go back east. He grew up in North Carolina, as far as I know, and apparently he wants to get back to the East Coast. So it's tough to know what the reason is. And I do think we're in a really interesting kind of situation with wide receivers in the league, and what they earn, and the teams kind of making the decisions. There's still questions around AJ Brown. There's still questions around DK Metcalf, and that'll be interesting to see how that plays out over the next little while. There's a lot can happen as well. Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray, who knows what will happen over the next week. I am interested to see where Deebo goes. I don't think they will get a huge, I don't see them getting a high first round pick for Deebo because of what he's going to command in terms of his contract. But I said it, I'm a huge Deebo Samuel fan. I said it repeatedly last year. Deebo Samuel with the ball in hand is magnificent. It is one of the best sights in the NFL, and wherever he goes, he will be a wonderful to watch, but he will also be, as all top wide receivers are, very, very expensive.
It's a tricky one, because sometimes, as you say, you don't know what side your bread is buttered, and I think he fits that 49ers team really well, and I think half the reason why he's been so successful is because Kyle Shanahan, who's such a good schemer offensively, knows how to get the best out of him. I can understand and appreciate why he's kind of getting a little bit fed up with the fact that he's now, where they might kind of class it as he's doing jet sweeps and stuff, but realistically he's become a running back, and he's also a wide receiver. So I can understand why he feels he should be paid, quite handsomely to be rewarded for all the work he does on both sides in terms of those positions. However, his agent has said he's not engaging with them because he just doesn't. It's not about the money now. It's about the fact that he just wants to leave, and he wants to be a number one wide receiver for whatever team he goes to. But I don't believe he's a number one wide receiver. I think he's a really good player that fits in well, and wherever he goes, he'll have to fit in well with what they want to do offensively. Our team's going to completely drastically change how they construct their offense to fit him in, potentially. Maybe some team like the Jets who are really keen for him, but I think the Jets have been burnt off the Tyreek Hill situation, and they'll be very much not declaring their interest until they know realistically they're going to get him, because I don't think they want to be two players this offseason that they've really gone in heavily on and didn't get either of them. Won't look good from a Jets perspective. So if you're asking where I think the likely destination is, I think it might be the Jets, but I do think giving up that 10th pick would be a bit rich for me. I think they should be looking at giving up they've got 2 picks in the second round. I think that you could be putting them in. And just bear in mind, the 49ers have no first round pick this year. I'm not entirely sure where they are on the second round. They gave it away last year with the Trey Lance deal, so they'll be looking to get it back. But I think the 49ers will hold for, and like we saw last year with Aaron Rodgers, where it looked like leading up to the draft he might have got traded. With the 49ers actually been involved with the Packers, I think the 49ers will hold for her, and they won't do a deal.
Just to make people aware, this is recorded as of right now, as of Thursday night. We don't know if something happens to Deebo. And if anything does happen, we're not changing this show before I get multiple texts on Saturday morning. I don't think something will happen. I seen Dan Orlovsky was saying on ESPN Live earlier on today that he thinks there's a number of different teams that could or should go to and try and get Deebo Samuel, Baltimore and Indianapolis being 2 of them. The other options that he gave, I'm not even going to discuss. because why would somebody like Deebo Samuel want to go to the Jets? Like, this is a guy that was 60 minutes away from the Super Bowl a mere 2 months ago. And you can throw money at it, and we can sit here and we can say about the Jets being aggressive. They were aggressive for Tyreek Hill, but I mean, come on. I mean, what? Why would Deebo Samuel want to go there? Why would he want, like, a guy
If
in
it,
his position? Granted, teams may find it difficult to get the best out of him, but if he wants to play the wide receiver somewhere, go talk to Shanahan, work it out, get Jimmy G in, get another season, because that's what's going to happen in San Fran. Nothing is going to happen. Trey Lance is not going to be the starter. Jimmy Garoppolo is not going to be traded, and Deebo Samuel is not going to go anywhere, because this is all talk ahead of next week. We need something to talk about. Last year we had a quarterback heavy talent at the start of the draft. This year we don't, and people are bored, and it's silly season, and
but
he's not going anywhere, and that's all I'm
he
going to say.
he requested the trade. I also think if Jimmy
I want to
G
play for Man
doesn't,
United, Colin. I'm not
well,
contractually.
yeah, but you weren't one of the top offensive weapons in the Premier League last year who would have his choice of teams. I think that some of this is driven by the fact that what the 49ers gave up for Trey Lance. And I do think there's an interesting discussion to be had if Jimmy G is the starter there next year, because one of the things that Jamarcus Russell did was he changed the landscape. He led to, I suppose, an NFL where teams wanted to control rookie contracts. And the whole idea now is you get a QB on a rookie deal and you try to build around that to give yourself the largest Super Bowl window that you can have. The 49ers gave up the farm to go up and get Trey Lance. If they now sit him for 2 years, that to me, this is not Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, or Jordan Love and Aaron Rodgers. This is not a Hall of Fame QB who is being replaced. Jimmy G is not a Hall of Fame QB. He has had opportunities to win a Super Bowl and messed it up. He had an opportunity last year to lead the 49ers, who could have and should probably have beaten the Rams in the championship game. I think everybody is going to look a little bit silly. They'll have to put a brave face on it. But I think they would have wanted to be in a position where, having given up so much, that Trey Lance was going to be starting in year 2. Yeah, you could well be right that it will be Jimmy G, but if it is, it's not what they wanted.
2-time Super Bowl champion, Brian.
Jerry, just go back. I'm back. Just go back to what you said there around it's silly season. So we're leading up to the draft. We're always going to have all these stories. Yeah, I'm with you on that 100%. But at the end of last season, if you told me when we were departing LA that Devontae Adams wouldn't be the Packers player and Tyreek Hill wouldn't be with the Chiefs, I would have said, you're off your rocker. What were you drinking that weekend away? Nothing surprises anymore. Certainly not in this offseason. So do I think it'll happen? No. Would I be shocked? No. And especially where the 49ers are in a position going into this draft, which we've discussed with other interviews, which we might see over the coming week, around the fact of how explosive some of these wide receivers are in the draft. I mean, potentially there's some 7 or 8 wide receivers going in the first round. It's probably one of the most stacked drafts for quite some time in terms of wide receivers. Maybe the 49ers will look at it and say, yeah, okay, fine. It's not what we want. He's a great player. We'll move him on and we'll take our chance with another player coming in. The problem there is if they turn to Trey Lance and they're also having a rookie wide receiver, you're asking 2 players to gel very quickly who don't know each other, and that to me will cause a lot of difficulty. I do think Jimmy will probably inevitably stay there more so because of the injury. And we just saw John Lynch's interview at the combine. He was so bullish around the fact that Trey Lance was going to be the quarterback this coming season. Jimmy G understood the situation the team were in. They were moving forward with his quarterback. At that stage, the way he was going on, he was probably assuming come the lead up to free agency, he would be traded despite the injury and despite the operation. But that hasn't come to pass. And I really don't see now, unless Carolina decide next week it's quarterback's not for them and they go down that road. But Baker Mayfield is also a wild card in that conversation. So look, we'll see. Deebo wants to move and he might just get it, but I don't think it'll happen before the draft.